Hello, everyone. This is Devin Thorpe for the CrowdFundBeat, and I'm excited to have with us today Joey Jelinek of GroundBreaker. He's got a company that provides the infrastructure for crowdfunding sites. Joey, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Devin, for having me, and also thanks so much for everything you're doing for the crowdfund movement.
Well, we're certainly excited, and thank you for being here. Joey, tell us about GroundBreaker and what you're doing.
So what we're doing with GroundBreaker essentially is providing our customers with a turnkey SaaS solution so they can get started crowdfunding. And our customers wide range from a full gamut, from placement agents to syndicators to principals, basically anyone that has wants their own portal, whether it's their own projects or other people's projects, and they can come to us and we can literally give them a turnkey solution because our team comprises three different areas. We're focused on the real estate sector, and so our team comprises of the three sort of areas that you would need to get started in crowdfunding, which is real estate, obviously, the law and securities and technology. So by coming to, and we, I should add to that we've operated a crowdfunding platform for over a year now. So if you want to make a Venn diagram and draw three circles, one of them being real estate, another one being technology, another one being the lawns and broker dealers. In the middle of that is crowdfunding, and so that's what we essentially offer to those that come to us.
And give us some examples of the people who are using your technology and how they're deploying it.
So it really does range quite a bit. So we have let's say on one end we have developers who have maybe one or two projects a year that they do. And they, want to bring their deals online and make the process more efficient. Some of them do it privately, so they're not really crowdfunding in the sense that they're not opening up their deals to outsiders. But what we've built is an efficient fundraising and investor servicing platform. So the technology literally automates every part of the fundraising process as well as the investor servicing process. So some people come to us with just their own investors, and they want to make that process more efficient. And some come to us with that same goal in mind, but they want to leverage Title II of the Jobs Act, and they want to open up those deals to a wider audience. And so obviously we handle that for that group. All the way up to, on the upper end, you have more enterprise institutional firms like placement agents, or institutional funds that have a lot of projects that they want to open up for their institutional customers, and in some instances are considering opening those up to retail investors, and everything in between. We have some folks that come to us that just want to start their own crowdfunding platforms, so we get them up and running very quickly. If you wanted to go and do this on your own, you'd have to go and hire a development firm. They can cost you north of $60,000, $80,000 to build out the site plus 6 months, and you'd have to know what the requirements are. A lot of people don't, and you'd obviously have to project manage that team and so on and so forth. You have to maintain the site when it's done. Not to mention, you'd have to go and engage an attorney and build out a consulting team to basically come up with their business model, revenue model, and all the other things that you would need to get started. So when they come to us, they literally get all that, and they can be up and running very quickly.
What kind of time frame does it take from first call to first customer?
From first call to first customer, or customer launch?
Well, yeah. I mean, until they can book a customer, until your customers can book a customer.
Okay, so from the moment they engage us to the moment they're up and running, it really depends on the exact sort of requirements that they have and the suite of services that they need. In let's say the really fast case, we can have people up in a few days. Depending again, of course, how much they would require.
Yeah.
And how much customization is done. It could be as much as 6 weeks. So.
Okay.
But I'd say the average customer is probably the average requirement and customer is probably about a week or two.
So it seems like most of the people who are using your platform aren't getting into crowdfunding as a business. They're already in the real estate business and are looking to either use a platform to expand their investor audience or just to manage the investor database they already have?
Yes, I'd say the majority. I'd say about maybe 80% of them, yes, already have an existing, maybe even more, have an existing real estate business that's offline, and they want to bring it online to, just obviously leverage in some cases leverage Title II of the Jobs Act, which to do it effectively you need a web presence, or just to do it more efficiently. I'd say we do get about maybe 10 or 15% of inquiries that are people that want to just get into crowdfunding.
What are you seeing in terms of adoption of Reg D 506C in the real estate space in recent weeks and months?
A lot. We've definitely seen a lot. I mean, there's definitely a lot of appeal to open up projects to others and grow their investor base. But one of the things that we, really tell the people that we work with is that this, some people have the misconception that they think this is something that's just happened overnight. They just put up a platform and put up a deal on there, and the next day it's just like oversubscribed. And we think really that's not really what crowdfunding is all about. And not only is that kind of an unrealistic expectation, but crowdfunding really, to think about it, it's a really long-term goal. I have a company a brand that's going to exist forever, and it's going to do these kinds of projects. Let's say it's hotels. And so what I'm really doing with crowdfunding is I'm opening up, my company really to engage a much wider audience, so they can come in, they can learn about the projects we do, they can learn about us as sponsors, they can become more familiar with us, and if they like what we do, they like the kind of projects that we work on, they'll engage with us and hopefully become, an investor for the long term. And then that way they might not invest in every project, but at least they're seeing your activity, they're seeing what you're doing, and on any given day, a certain percentage of the people that are following you might be willing and able to invest in that project. So it's really all about building a long-term user base, that I think where you really capture all the benefits of crowdfunding. Not think of it as just some short-term transactional-based financing vehicle.
Right. Now, is your platform intended to be compliant with Title III, or are you staying out of that murky morass for a while?
No, we're definitely. I'll put it to you this way: it's really in response to what our customers want. So I have a current customer that's in Georgia, and they're they're taking advantage of the Georgia interstate laws. And there are a few customers that I have that are kind of waiting to see what happens with Florida, because they might go that direction as well. So nobody obviously doing Title III on a federal level, but there already is some use in the state level. In terms of the federal level, there is some interest, but there's a lot of apprehension. I'd say most customers are apprehensive, but there are a few that are interested in it, and for those that want to go that direction, we will certainly help them do that. Generally speaking, I don't think that Title III on the federal level, as written, is going to be such a boon for real estate for a variety of reasons. Title II has far more reaching effects for the real estate industry.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are skeptical about the effectiveness of Title III in a lot of areas. So, what brought you to this space, Joey? Give us a little sense of your history and why you are tackling this problem.
Okay, that's a great question. So, I graduated. I went to Columbia and to the architecture school there, as well as to Cornell, like you. I went to the hotel school. And so I've always, I'm really fond of architecture, design, also hotels. And so I wanted to, at one point in my career, open up a lifestyle boutique hotel brand. And I had the background. I worked for Morgan Stanley for many years as a real estate investment banker. And so, I get real estate very well. I've raised over $15 billion in projects. And so I had a good network. I had good background. I had sort of the, and I put together a dream team. So I had all the, ingredients, that somebody would need to execute. But then I went to go get funding for it. Institutional investors were scared to death. And if you know anything about hotel, investors, they like to fund things that are flagged, like Marriott or something. So lifestyle and boutique scares them. in general. And especially if you're doing something super innovative, creative, and different, then that really scares them. They're very risk averse. They don't know how to handle that. So they're not very, an innovative crowd. At the same time, I had already done a lot of research, including, about 200,000 people that really liked the concept from testings. So I had, people that wanted this product. I just needed to deliver it, and institutional investors just, were not, I guess you could say the right person to go to. So at the time, this was pre-Jobs Act. Kickstarter was doing very well, and so I looked at Kickstarter and said, hey, why don't we just, I get these initial seed funds for this funded directly from the people that intend to use the hotel, that actually want it to be built. And it's not going to be sufficient to fund the development of the hotel, but at least hopefully would send a signal to the institutional guys that says, look, there's a need for this in the space. So I actually started building GroundBreaker to fund my hotel. Really was the purpose of it. Along the way, though, again, coming from the architecture school, very bright, talented architects that do very, innovative and exciting projects for, however, same problem is that institutional investors, the developers that they work with, wanted them to sort of fit a mold. And so the idea there was help architects kind of transition into design builders by connecting them with people in the communities that want those projects to be built. So that was kind of the initial impetus, if you will, for GroundBreaker. And it's still our mission philosophy, which is helping entrepreneurs, manifest their visions. So everything we do, including to this day, which actually, if you think about it, translates exactly into what we're doing now, is every decision we make is always with this mission in mind, which is helping entrepreneurs, manifest their visions. So that's why we've kind of also transitioned in this case to offer this turnkey SaaS solution, is because we noticed in the industry that there was a lot of very solid real estate companies, that have good track records, good people, do good projects, that wanted to take advantage of the Jobs Act but didn't know how to get started. And so this is, in line with our mission, we decided to shift focus and say, let's help these people get online and promote their brands and get, reach a wider audience.
Very good. So if people are interested in learning more about your offerings and perhaps engaging you, where do they go? Who do they reach out to? What's the process for getting started?
Best process for getting started would be to go to our website and see the content there, see if it's a good fit for you. And obviously, first of all, just do a real self-assessment and make sure that this is the direction you want to go in. And if you check both of those boxes off, we seem like a good fit, and this is definitely a direction you want to move into, then you can just send me an email. My first name, Joey, at groundbreaker.co. That, again, is Joey at groundbreaker, one word, .co. I'm more than happy to speak with you.
And your website is groundbreaker.co, right?
Yes, correct.
All righty. Well, Joey, thank you very much for being with us today. It's great to learn more about what's going on and your role in this rapidly growing ecosystem of crowdfunding, and we wish you all the best.
Thanks so much, Devin. Same to you.
All righty. Let's do some good.